Yo, what's going on with y'all? It's your boy NeohXO, and I'm back at y'all with a Black Clover episode 138 review. Now, before we get too deep into the video, make sure you guys like and subscribe if you like Black Clover content. And with that being said, let's play the intro. So I think this was a pretty cool episode. I know a lot of people are going to be happy because we finally got a Zara episode, and this episode didn't disappoint. So it begins off with Zara pretty much going on his own because he's not a big fan of training with the Black Bulls. I think that over time he's going to be more accustomed to actually training with the squad, but as of right now he's not really that accustomed, so he decided to go on his own and do his own training. Now he ended up going back to his home village of Tulsa. So if you guys didn't know, he's from Tulsa village, and he goes to visit his father's grave. Now what he notices is that there are flowers that are already left there at his father's grave, and at first he didn't know who actually left them there, but later in the episode we find out. And that's something I want to bring up about this episode is it's really a self-contained story. And what I mean by that is someone who doesn't even watch Black Clover can watch this episode and get a full story from start to finish and don't even have to know much about Black Clover, because I feel like this story was trying to convey a message in a way, because Zora taught a younger person what it means to be a Magic Knight and what it means to make it into the Magic Knights. He kind of touched on the fact that you basically have to believe in yourself, and this is solidified whenever we see he had like a flashback to Asta and Yuno saying that they were going to become the Wizard King. He was basically saying they could only say that because they actually believe that they can become the Wizard King, and that's basically the message that I got from this episode. It was a really good message. It kind of stuck with me, so I wanted to point that out for everyone so they could resonate with the message possibly. So the conflict of this episode was that there was a bully named Kaito who was bullying one of the peasants, and he has flame magic, and he was just basically bullying the peasant because he thought that the peasant was weak. Now the peasant wanted to become a Magic Knight, and as we know, it's very difficult for a peasant to become a Magic Knight. So basically Kaito wanted to become a Magic Knight, but he's a noble, so it's a lot more easy for him because his magic is pretty powerful. You know what I mean? Now the peasant's name is Ina, and Ina's pretty much trying his hardest to become a Magic Knight. In his spare time, he trains to become a Magic Knight. And I say spare time on purpose because for the most part, since he's a peasant, he has to do a lot of work. He doesn't really have a lot of time to train, and so in that regard, he could have been a lot more powerful if he was born into a noble family where they don't have to work as hard because they're rich. So the fact that he has to work with his father takes up a large proportion of his time, so he isn't able to train. And he actually says some pretty mean things about his father. He says that he wished he wasn't born to his father and that he was born to a rich family or a noble or royal family, because then he would be able to become a Magic Knight more easier. But that's another message I want to put out there, is basically he would have had it a lot easier, but this shows that with hard work anything is possible. That's basically what Zora was trying to pass on to the kid. Now something I want to point out about Zora is he's not very friendly, but he is very good-hearted. So even though he's not very friendly when it comes to the social aspect of things, he doesn't want anything bad to happen to people, and he basically wants everybody to chill, like everyone to be in peace basically. I don't really blame Zora for being the way he is, because he ultimately had his father taken away and his life wasn't really that smooth. You know, he was a peasant and his father was a peasant, and they were treated poorly, and at the end of the day he lost his father and he's basically alone now. I don't want to say alone because he has the Black Bulls, but I'm going to say alone because he hasn't fully accepted them, and you can really tell that because he didn't even really want to train with them yet. But I believe that over time the story is going to develop and he's going to train with them, but he didn't even want to train with the Black Bulls yet. He's kind of slow to opening up to them in a way. Something I do want to point out about this episode is whenever Kaito came back for the second time to bully Ina, he had a magic item. Now if you guys didn't watch my power scaling video about Black Clover, I definitely need you guys to watch that, because I really was calling this out and I really was speaking specifically about these magic items in that video. So I'm gonna leave a link to that, the power scaling video. Y'all gotta watch that. It's a must watch. Y'all can end this video and go watch that one. But basically what I was saying in that video is these magic items are nothing to play with. Zora even says that in this episode. He says that kid has a magic item kids shouldn't be playing with that. Or he said something extremely similar to that. And you can see whenever Kaito had his power without any amplification, it was just normal, alright? It was strong, but just normal. But once he applied this magic item, his power was amplified to an extreme degree. And that's what I'm saying, like, there's a lot of strategy that goes into Black Clover battles. Literally, that magic item boosted his power to basically an absurd amount. The point I'm trying to get at is basically magic items can change the whole outcome of a battle. The episode basically ends off with Kaito lying to his father about what happened to the magic item. And we know that Kaito took the magic item, but when he was caught, he basically blamed the magic item missing on the peasant. Now, we know that there's a lot of discrimination against peasants, so his father automatically believed that the peasant was the one who stole the magic item when it was not the case. Kaito took the magic item, and then Zara saved the kid, and he basically scared the kid. We all know that Zara can be kind of scary. Zara basically saved the kid and scared Kaito, because Kaito doesn't have the heart of a true magic knight. He has the power and he has the potential, but his heart is just not there. And Zara says that he's basically a reflection of his father. Just because you have it good and easy does not mean you have heart. And I think that Ina is definitely going to have more heart to become a magic knight because he actually had to work for it. This episode has like a lot of messages, and I really vibe with that. Like I really like that. At the end of the episode, we kind of see it come full circle because Ina's father was actually rescued by Zora's father, and Zora came to the rescue of Ina. So basically it came full circle. Now Zora's a magic knight now, and of course Zora's father was a magic knight, and they both inspired Ina and Ina's father to become magic knights. Now, Ina's father has already failed the magic knight exam multiple times, but he's never going to give up because Zara really inspired him. So he's never going to give up. He actually tried out for the magic knight squads one time and he ended up crippled, and he's still not going to give up. He actually has pretty decent amount of mana. Now, it's nothing compared to some of the other mages we've seen, but for a peasant and for someone who isn't even in the magic knights, he has a pretty impressive mana pool. I'm not gonna lie, he used some pretty impressive spells. He was able to compete with a noble, and as we know, nobles have a higher magic preserves or reserves, whatever word you want to use, than peasants. It was pretty impressive. Now, basically what he's saying is that he's never ever gonna give up, and he's quite older at this point, and he's still not gonna give up. I think that's another message of the episode. Pretty much never give up on your dreams. And I really like this episode. I think all the Zora fans will pretty much agree with me that this was a pretty good episode. But with that being said, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, comment, and subscribe. It's been your boy NeohXO, and I'm out.